I'm the Old Ranger with an exciting new story of real life in the Old West. In 1876, Bismarck, Dakota Territory, was the jumping-off place of civilization. The western end of the telegraph line, and the place where Colonel Clement Lounsberry established his frontier newspaper, the Bismarck Tribune, and where as correspondent for the New York Herald, he performed a journalistic feat that has gone down in history as the Great Lounsberry Scoop. Across the river from Bismarck lies Fort Lincoln, U.S. cavalry post under the command of that popular hero and great Indian fighter, General George Armstrong Custer. Events are in the wind on the spring morning of 1876 as Custer visits the Bismarck Tribune office.
General!
Lounsberry!
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
My assistant, Mark Kellogg, General Custer.
How do you do, sir?
Nice to know you. Well, my orders have come through. I'm to command the 7th Cavalry in the campaign against the Sioux.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Can you take the summer off?
Take the summer off, huh?
You're coming with us to cover the story.
Well, I understood all newspapermen were barred.
You're the one exception. Special permission from General Terry.
Now, how does that happen?
I asked for you. Better start getting ready.
Oh, I'll be ready.
Good. Well, I've got things to attend to. Kellogg?
General?
I'll be talking to you, Colonel.
Did you hear that, Mark? I'm to accompany the troops to the Badlands.
It's quite a break. I envy you.
You'll have to run the paper in my absence and take over my assignment as correspondent for the New York Herald. I'm wiring Bennett right now. Take this over to the telegraph office and give it to Carnahan. Oh, wait a minute. Here's Carnahan himself.
Dispatches from St. Louis and Chicago. Say, what's going on? I just saw General Custer leave here.
Well, you send this off pronto and you can read about it yourself.
James Gordon Bennett, New York Herald. General Custer has arranged for me to accompany expedition against the Sioux. Well.
General Custer has arranged for me to accompany expedition against the Sioux. Well, think of it, Miller. We'll be the only newspaper in the country with its own correspondent on the spot.
Well, it's about time we got something out of that backwoods town.
It's going to be quite a show. And the Herald's in on the ground floor.
We're moving out next Wednesday morning. The entire 7th Cavalry, 6 companies of infantry.
Well, can we release all this to the public?
Every Sioux in the country probably knows it already. Now, the plan, you see, is to converge on Sitting Bull from 3 different directions. Come in.
Message for Colonel Lounsberry. Mrs. Lounsberry has been taken ill. They want you home as soon as possible.
General, I...
Go on, Lounsberry.
Oh, it's no use, Mark. Under the circumstances, I can't go. You'll have to go in my place.
Me?
Well, I know it's terribly short notice for an absence of months, but...
That's all right. I have no family.
Troops leave Fort Lincoln tomorrow. If you hurry, you can make the next ferry.
It's a good thing I keep extra shirt and socks in the office.
Here's some paper and pencil for your notes.
I'll keep a diary.
Good. Don't forget your pipe. Send back dispatches by pony as often as you can. And Mark, stay close to Custer and you'll get plenty of copy.
Oh, I guess I'd better wear these. I won't be able to see where I'm going. I'll do my best.
Well, this isn't goodbye. I'll be at Fort Lincoln to see you and Custer off.
Major, take charge.
Troops in front! By twos! On! Hello!
Here you are, Carnahan. Story of Custer's departure for the New York Herald.
That was quite a send-off, wasn't it?
Yes. I envy Mark Kellogg. On that mule?
I know what you mean, though. Chance to see Custer in action. Oh, by the way, how's Mrs. Lounsberry?
Oh, she's better, thanks. Good.
Special, the New York Herald.
You don't look very happy, Miller.
Lounsberry didn't go.
Are you sure?
Well, here it is. A description of Custer's departure. That's probably the only exclusive story of the expedition we're going to get.
He must have had some reason.
Oh, you know these small town editors.
Well, run this and trust we get some more.
Valley of the Little Bighorn, June 1876. Sure enough, dispatches came back to Bismarck regularly, by courier for the next few weeks. From the Little Missouri, the Powder River, the Yellowstone, and then silence.
Those drums are getting on my nerves.
Just friendly Indians across the river.
They were going all last night.
Well, the white man celebrates the 4th of July. Indians got to celebrate, too.
Celebrate what?
You're not worried, are you?
Well, we haven't received a dispatch in over a week.
You got to remember they're pretty deep in Indian territory. Takes longer to get word out.
Indians have their couriers, too, don't forget. I think I'd better get over to the post in the morning and see what I can find out.
Dispatch from the Tribune, Mr. Lounsberry.
Good. Where's this from?
Rosebud Creek, sir, Montana.
Thanks very much. It's dated June 21st. We leave the Rosebud tomorrow, and by the time this reaches you, we will have met the Red Devils. With what results remain to be seen.
Good old Mark.
Listen to this. Last line of his dispatch. I go with Custer and will be at the death.
Colonel Lounsberry.
I'll have some coffee for you in a minute.
I'm afraid I've got a story for you, sir.
Oh? What is it?
Custer and all of his men. Wiped out.
What? How do you know?
Steamer far west just tied up. In from the Big Horn.
You better tell Mr. Carnahan to stand by.
Yes, sir.
Captain Marsh? Lounsberry, Bismarck Tribune.
Oh, yes. These are the wounded from Major Reno's command. 51 of them.
Oh, what of Custer's command?
Wiped out to the last man. Complete massacre.
We had a reporter with Custer. Mark Kellogg.
Oh, yes. Just a moment. This bag was found beside his body.
Could you please come to the Tribune office as soon as possible? I must get this whole story.
Clear the lines to St. Paul in the east. We've got news that'll rock the nation.
Cut me through, quick. Special. New York Herald.
Mark's diary. It's the whole story. Stained with his blood. Carnahan, when you get that line, keep it open. Keep it open no matter what.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
There's a wire from Bismarck. It's horrible.
All the Custers killed. Oh, God. Better get on the wire. Tell them to rush all particulars.
Operator, Bismarck. Rush. Me. Full. Particulars. Signed. James. Gordon. Bennett.
Oh, here's your first batch of copy. I'll feed you more as soon as I can write it.
Bismarck. July 6th.
Miller! Give this the whole front page.
I've wired our Washington correspondent to check with the War Department for a statement.
Good. And tell Bismarck to keep it coming.
Fine.
Rogers. Get over at the Trib office. Tell Lounsberry I'm running out of copy.
Well, he should have some. He's interviewing Captain Marsh.
First we knew was 2 days after the battle, when a Crow scout came staggering aboard the Far West. That's where we lay at the mouth of the Little Bighorn. We couldn't believe it. But it was true, all right. The Sioux had massed 3,000 men, and Custer had only 261.
Colonel Lounsberry, Mr. Carnahan needs more copy.
Then give him this, the list of the dead. And tell him to hang on to that wire. If we lose it, we'll never get through again.
Some more stuff from Bismarck. It's a list of the dead, including all 5 Custers.
Any word from Washington?
Not yet.
Can't understand it.
You don't think by any chance that our Bismarck correspondent has gone off half-cocked on this thing?
A story like this, a list of the dead? Impossible.
Well, if it's true, Army headquarters would be the first to be notified. You know, the costs on that open wire to Bismarck are running into a fortune.
I know. Tell Lounsberry to hold up further copy awaiting confirmation from Washington.
All right.
Where's Lounsberry?
Down on the far west, interviewing some of the wounded from Reno's command.
Wire here from New York says hold up everything till further notice.
Hold up every... All right, I'll tell him, but I think you ought to send this anyhow.
Yeah.
So that's it, huh?
Hey, he just didn't wait. You know Custer, sir. Bravest man who ever put foot in a stirrup, but riding for glory.
Last anybody saw of him, he was leading the Gray Horse troop over the divide. He was waving his hat.
Old battle couldn't have lasted more than an hour.
Well, thanks very much, man.
Oh, sir, there's something you might like to know. There was just 2 of the bodies the Indians left untouched. General Custer, your reporter, Mark Kellogg.
There's a man who can make the paper talk.
We'll make it talk. We'll make it scream. Clear across America.
Colonel Lounsberry.
I'm getting this copy out as fast as I can.
They don't want it.
What? Who?
New York, the Herald. They say to stop sending until they get word from Washington.
I do that, I break telegraphic communication with them now, I'll never establish contact with them again. Somebody else will grab the line.
Carnahan can't hold the line much longer anyway, sir. He's run out of copy.
Then give him this.
The Bible.
Tell him to keep sending scripture till copy is ready. If Bennett won't foot the bill, I will.
It'll run to thousands of dollars.
I'll pay for it if I have to sell the plant, but this story is going out.
Yes, sir.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. And it came to pass...
From Washington?
No, it's from Bismarck. Completely disregarding our orders.
I can't understand this silence from the War Department.
They know nothing. They've got nothing to say.
That's incredible. General Sheridan must have received dispatches.
General Sheridan is in Philadelphia at the Centennial.
Well, send someone there to track him down.
I've already sent a man.
We're wasting valuable time. Is the story set up?
We're ready to roll, but we can't. It's too big a risk.
What does Lounsberry say this time?
Oh, nothing. He's singing psalms at his own expense.
Let me see that. Thou shalt not be afraid for... Miller, don't you see? He's holding the lines open with anything as long as they're words. He's really got a big one. The biggest in newspaper history, and he's going to see that we get it.
Well, maybe, but I just
Get the
can't...
presses rolling.
We still don't have a confirmation of it.
Then we'll run without it.
We don't dare.
Maybe we don't, but I do. And who owns the newspaper?
You do, thanks to the fact that your father founded it. Think of him, Bennett. If you publish the story of Custer's defeat and it proves to be untrue, well, the Herald's reputation will be ruined. And you'll never live it down.
I'll take my chances.
What is the word of some editor up in a stick somewhere compared with that of the U.S. government?
Release the story.
All right.
A bloody battle. General Custer killed. A horrible slaughter pen. I have heard of yellow journalism, but I never thought the New York Herald would be guilty of it.
Now, just a minute, Major.
To perpetrate a cruel hoax like this on the American public.
This story happens to be true, direct from our correspondent.
The War Department denies it categorically.
Yes, I know.
General Sheridan, General Sherman, they give it no credence.
I still believe it.
Then you're a fool. And worse, if you were in the Army, you'd be court-martialed. Headquarters may still hold you responsible. I knew your father. He was a great newspaper man. He must be turning over in his grave.
I hope I haven't let you down.
Now, scouts on the frontier have a way of spreading stories, especially about Indian warfare. Your editor would have been wise to wait for a confirmation from headquarters.
You think it'll come, General Sheridan?
Nothing that horrible. It couldn't be. A defeat at the very worst, but not a wholesale massacre. Come in.
A dispatch from the War Department, sir. Addressed to you at Army headquarters and forwarded to you here. Sorry it was delayed.
It's true. Every word the Herald printed.
Any more?
That's it. Over 80,000 words.
Oh, I kept praying my hand wouldn't get paralyzed.
Carnahan, do you know how long you've been at that key? 80 hours.
That all? Seemed like 80 years.
Well, there it is, the whole story. Interviews with General Sheridan, General Sherman.
Complete confirmation.
Good work, Miller.
Good work for you, sir. Taught me a good lesson in faith in my fellow newspapermen.
Yes. The honors go to Colonel Lounsberry. He had a great story. He recognized a great story. And he handled it with greatness.
And the way I've got it figured out, we're going to owe Western Union about $3,500, including charges on some Bible quotations.
The best $3,500 I ever spent. And you can spend a few more dollars of the Herald's money, sending our thanks and our compliments to Colonel Lounsberry and to the telegraph operator. Better get along now and send that message off to Bismarck.
Yes, sir.
On the site of the old Western Union office in Bismarck, there stands today this marker commemorating that historic feat of journalism and telegraphy. Few news stories have so electrified a nation. In the Custer Battlefield National Monument, a simple stone of white marble marks the grave of Mark Kellogg, the reporter who, as he prophesied, was with Custer at the death, and whose diary helped to piece together the story of that ill-fated campaign. Now, I have here in my hands at this moment some pages from that diary, stained with Kellogg's blood from the Battle of the Little Bighorn, June 25, 1876. Now, for these priceless pages and for all her other help, we are indebted to Mrs. Stella Mann, the present publisher of the Bismarck Tribune and successor to its founder, Colonel Clement Lounsberry.